Yes, hello everybody and welcome back to Kilohearts. It's George here with a brand new product, Clipper, for you today. And this one is a lovely, simple, free addition to the Kilohearts ecosystem, whether you're just using the standalone plugins with the Essentials Collection or you're using them in the wider ecosystem with SnapHeap or Multipass or PhasePlant. Clipper is a new dynamics management tool, a simple utility with a threshold that allows no sound to pass above. It's a real kind of hard line that no individual sample can go beyond. It's kind of like a limiter, except that limiters have attack and decay time. They have some play in them to account for reducing the probability of distortion, basically. And a clipper just doesn't do that. It embraces the distortion and allows you to work with it. It works in the digital domain sample by sample to completely clip off the tops of waveforms. And of course that results in some sharp edges to waveforms and therefore some distortion, some high harmonics creeping in. So you can use that as a creative tool. You can intentionally add in harmonics, or you can use it relatively transparently in mixing and mastering, just to clip a couple of dBs off the top of something so that you've got a bit more headroom to add loudness. We're going to talk about a couple of those uses and keep it nice and simple today so you can get out and start using it in your tracks. I wanted to start with this simple 808 kick sound and just show you how this thing works. So we're not hearing any clipping right now, but as soon as we bring down the threshold, we'll start to hear the sharper edges of those waveforms creating higher harmonic information, bit of distortion, bit of drive, bit of body to the sound, and adding a bit more tonality. You can hear the note a bit more clearly and you kind of turn a transient heavy kick into a more sustained tonal bass this way. So that's fun. You've got the input gain. If you don't want to reduce the threshold, you can increase the input gain. It's just a question of gain staging. And of course you can balance the loudness with the output gain if you want to in the mix. The other feature here is knee, and if you increase this, you slightly round off the edges of the clipping so that you have a soft clipping situation where not quite so much perceptible distortion comes into play. As the sample values approach the threshold, they're being reduced just gently in this case. So the knee allows you just to soften off slightly. But as I say, if you want to leave the knee really, really sharp, you can bring this down and get a crazy dark distortion. A lot of real power in that. So that's the basic use case of this. You can add tonality to percussive instruments particularly because this is working not over milliseconds but on sample basis. You can really harshly perform surgery on your peaks. And this comes in really handy when it comes to the mix in general. So let's open up the mix processing and take a look at Clipper in the context of a mix. Now we've got this working in tandem with a couple of other dynamics processors, and this is how you get it to sound relatively transparent. You deal with your normal kind of compression and limiting to reduce the dynamic range, and use the Clipper just as a penultimate stage to cut out 2 or 3 decibels and give yourself a bit more headroom for loudness boosting. So let's start without the Clipper. And we'll bring it in. And we're hardly touching the signal. We're giving it a little bit of distortion, but so little as to be almost imperceptible. And then we're able to add a little bit more volume on the way out, just to increase loudness, basically, give us a more powerful mix, even though it's an energetic, percussive mix. So that's the second use I'd like to share for Clipper. And then the third thing I just wanted to throw at you before we send you on your way to use this thing is you can use it in Multipass to create interesting kind of tonal balances and push different frequencies at different times. So I've got it here in Multipass working on a low band and all the high frequencies. Listening to some nice percussion sounds, and I want to bring out those kind of low congas. So let's clip and distort them. They get this fuller body. And similarly, we can bring out high sizzle by aggressively clipping the higher frequencies here. A little bit sterile. Really nice and aggressive. So this just can be a kind of tonal control used as a distortion in its own right. So those are just some of the possibilities with Clipper, and I invite you to explore them yourself and enjoy using this fun little thing in your own projects. Like I said, it's free and it's ready to go. You just go to the Kilohearts website, run the installer, and get going. Enjoy yourself. Thanks very much for watching and enjoy Clipper.